Hey, what's up, everybody? Super Saiyan Santi here with my boy OG Frizzy Frank. We are back at it again, YouTube world. We are back at it again. What's up, man? How you been?
Man, I've been good. Life is good.
Have you watched the NFL halftime show?
I did, bro. Cheers, bro.
Cheers to you, my
Sorry,
brother.
my cup bigger than yours.
Well, hey, it's okay. You want to use the larger cup.
Sometimes my cup runneth over.
I don't have no jokes for your cup being. That's a pause moment right there. So anyway, you watch the halftime show?
I watched the halftime show.
I took a minute to watch it. As I was telling you earlier, I tried to watch the game. Damn, that game.
It was boring.
Boring.
It was boring as hell.
Damn, why so boring?
They didn't play until the last 5 minutes. They were like, "Oh, let's throw our plays out." I was like, "Come on, man."
It's like they were both playing it safe the whole time.
They both were playing very safe.
And then they were going to put it all out at the end.
It's like they were playing tennis.
You think it's because of all the gambling? This shit, every sports are getting so bad?
No, I think
because they gambled before.
This football game was a boxing match. It was like they both were filling each other out, and they were both kind of half throwing their jab, and nobody wanted to commit to a combination. They wanted to see who was going to make a mistake first.
Man, what a boring game.
It was the most boring
Honestly,
game.
I felt the halftime show was better than the game. And that was only 13 minutes long.
I felt like a couple girls in the halftime show, seeing them was better than watching the whole game.
Watching that whole game.
I'd rather would have talked to those girls in the halftime show, a couple of them.
Man, that joint was so boring, bro.
It was the most boring game ever.
What did you think about the halftime show?
Well, I just thought it was boring too. I didn't think.
Oh, you didn't like it either?
It wasn't like it wasn't like Kendrick Lamar's. I kind of got that. With all the innuendos and hidden messages, and I kind of like, oh, this, but maybe because I didn't really understand Bad Bunny, there were hidden messages in innuendos. So
yeah,
it probably, though it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
because Jay-Z's the one who picks the halftime people, right?
Yes, that's what I understand.
So he always picks a different genre every year. It's country, R&B, Latin. And then he just goes over again. So he tries to make it diverse, so it's not the same every year.
Yeah.
Next year it'll probably be country.
I hope it is for the people in the stands.
I want to talk specifically about the political references in this halftime show that really got me. So starting off, we're in the sugarcane fields of Puerto Rico, just diving right into the historical context of colonialism in the Caribbean, the history of slavery in the Caribbean, the exploitation of our land and our natural resources for the economic gain of the empire. Now we're in New York City, Nueva York. And then Benito just waltzes up to...
So that's the first step. That's what that's what that meant. I wanted to play you because you can understand it.
I hate, okay. Can I tell you one of my pet peeves?
Pet peeve.
When people gotta overpronounce Puerto Rico like that. Okay, I know. Is she Puerto Rican?
She might be, more than likely.
Okay, maybe that's why she do it. But okay, she cool.
You know why they do it?
To give homage to the
where they're from, man.
The correct
from where they're from.
Okay,
the correct pronunciation.
So you know what? That shouldn't be a pet peeve of mine. Then
I can see where it could be though. Because if you're someone from the outside looking in and you don't know, you think it's like boastful, right? Maybe. Is that the word?
I'm glad you pointed that out. It's good to have friends or people that you associate with that are diverse. Because like you teaching me now, I wouldn't even think about that perspective had you not brought it up.
Okay.
I just feel like, oh, they irritate me. It's like when people try to talk black.
Anyway, to go back with this young lady on the Puerto Rico, the way she says
Puerto Rico. I'm glad she brought that up. The slavery, and then back to New York. See, those are those in your windows that you need to be educated on by somebody who knows. Now, I don't know what the initial question was that I'm going.
It was about utilizing the extra enunciation of their word of their country. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't like it all the time either because there's certain people that would say, or as Hispanic male, that would talk a certain way.
Yeah.
It kind of turns me off too because for me it's like, okay, it's a bit flamboyant. And I'm nothing against that, but some people, when the behavior of it is just like, so I get it.
I don't like the over enunciation. It's like, you were talking normal enunciation, and then all of a sudden it's
you're looking for like an even keel. Like
Yeah.
keep it even.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
be so extra.
Yeah, don't try to, it's not like when I'm working around non-black people and I'm like, yo, and then I see a black guy, yo, my man, what's up, brother? And like
Everything in moderation.
Yeah, I just don't like when you do too much, you know.
And what people call it too much?
Just be fluent with it.
They call it be fluid.
Let it flow, like Bruce Lee said. It should be like water.
Like water.
Yeah.
I feel you. Okay.
Economic gain of the empire. Now we're in New York City, Nueva York. And then Benito just waltzes up to go take a shot with who? Toñita. Who's Toñita? This is a real Puerto Rican woman who lives in Brooklyn and owns something called the Caribbean Social Club, which is one of the last standing Puerto Rican establishments in Williamsburg, which has been a hugely gentrified neighborhood of New York City, which was always traditionally Puerto Rican. She herself has almost been kicked out many times, but refuses to sell. She's an icon of fighting gentrification in Nueva York.
That was the going to the lady at the window and getting the drink. It was about
about showcasing her because she's an icon. So I get it. It's too bad that they couldn't have been educated about this right after the Super Bowl.
I mean, that's where yes, we have the internet and the youth have the internet, and the older folk feel like, oh, you have the internet, you guys are just not taking advantage of it, or you're getting everything easy. You find the difficult part of it. The difficult part is the research. You don't have to just not research.
That brings me to a conclusion. It's not that you
conclude, my brother.
Yeah, I'm conclusational about this answer. Conclusation. That's a word. That means at the beginning of the preface of the conclusion of the conversation.
Okay, please conclude about this lady here in New York being an icon to battling gentrification in Williamsburg, New York.
When someone points everything out and educates you, it's not that you have to have all the right answers. Because I argue with people a lot and we Google what the argument is about. And it's not that I don't have the right answer, but it's the reason why they don't find out the right answer because they don't ask the right questions.
Isn't that what AI claims is all about?
You gotta ask the right questions. You can't just like blah, blah, blah. And you be like, what?
But you know what? There is no such thing as a stupid question.
No.
I believe you should just ask a question.
But you have to clarify.
That's called prompting.
Yeah. You have to clarify the question to the point that there can be many conclusions, right? But once you clarify it, it narrows down the conclusions to like a phlebidicide.
Oh, not a phlebidicide.
Yeah,
not a phlebidi.
Dude. It goes to a phlebidi. It just narrows it down to there can only be one conclusion. Right? That's what a phlebidicide is.
Oh, this guy's making up words. So you wouldn't have known that had this young lady and
had she not said that. Now, when I talk to people, I can clarify.
Oh, that clarify.
Dude, I can clarify what the Super Bowl was about and let them know
what they missed out on.
I can what you call analyze. That sounds nasty. And open up. I can open up the question, so that they can see. It's like, yo, did you know this?
So it was deep, the Super Bowl. Because once I watched, I watched what she was saying.
I wish I'd have watched this video before we did this podcast so I could
watch Super Bowl again.
Yeah. Do the research
but this is in real time.
Oh yeah, but in real time, I'm thinking, wow, why didn't I try to dig deeper into the meaning? But like I said, if you don't know to look at that, then you won't really be educated on the history of what it was all about. You're like, oh, I didn't get it. It wasn't all that.
With what you've heard so far, what did you make you think about this artist, his artistry?
Well, you know what? He has depthness.
Yeah.
In his me. And now I know that when someone does the Super Bowl, except country and maybe R&B
and rock and roll,
they have no And maybe because they're not under scrutiny like these other cultures,
Are you sure?
that they don't really, because like if Billy Ray Cyrus did the Super Bowl, it would be just music that everybody knows that he plays, and
you don't think it's going to have any kind of political?
It's not like he's going to go deep into like white culture of something that happened that has a historical.
Well, you don't think this may raise the bar?
I think because of Kendrick Lamar,
yeah, the bar has been raised.
He raised the bar.
The bar has been raised.
And now when cultural people do the Super Bowl, because they have such a large platform.
You think the NFL is going to let that happen again?
I think that
they're not going to monitor it now.
I think they didn't because you know what? They're not that deep in their thinking of the people that they pick are going to be this political.
Musician.
I mean, most of the people in the NFL didn't get the Kendrick Lamar thing until someone had to probably tell them and explain it later.
Of course, yeah.
Even Samuel Jackson was in the video. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't even get it until later, like afterwards, and somebody was explaining it.
I didn't really get it until later. I got some of it, and then some of it I was like, I have to be from where he's from or understand a little further.
I'm only getting it now in real time. So now I'm able to appreciate it, and I will go back and research so I can educate other people, even Latinos. Or Puerto Ricans.
Part of the show that hit us Boricuas the hardest. Ricky Martin. Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa. Quieren el barrio mío y que abuelita se vaya. No suelte la bandera ni olvide el Elolay. Que no quiero que hagan contigo lo que le pasó a Hawaii. Ricky Martin from Puerto Rico just sang a Bad Bunny song saying, I don't want to happen to us what happened to Hawaii. A blatant call for independence and sovereignty and decolonization of Puerto Rico.
So that's why Ricky Martin was there.
I didn't even know he was there.
You didn't even know that was Ricky Martin.
I didn't know that was Ricky Martin.
You didn't know that was Ricky Martin.
No, he looks a lot more masculine than he normally. But then he's older.
He's older.
He's older now.
He's been through life. You know what I'm saying? He was a menudo, man. He's one of the menudos. Like to Hispanic people, the menudos is like the Jackson 5 of like the Spanish people. You heard of the menudos?
I did hear of the menudos.
That was a big band back then. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
For the water. Yeah, that was Ricky Martin, man. You had no idea that was Ricky.
I didn't know that was Ricky.
And now that you know why Ricky was there, what he was saying.
You know what? Like I said, Kendrick Lamar set the bar high. Whoever does it next year, it'll probably be country.
It's going to be, it's going to be, right?
It's going to be country.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, God.
It's going to be Taylor Swift. I'm surprised. Has Taylor Swift not done a Super Bowl yet?
I think that she was asked or she was.
I am flabbergasted. Or what's the flabbergasted? I'm flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted narrows it down.
That Taylor has not
to the financial bit of the conversation.
Of the flabby.
Flabidium.
The flabidium. Oh, the flabidium.
Yeah, what did I say?
Flabidium.
Yeah. Flabidium is the final bit of the conversation, the flabidium.
When I watch this young lady's breakdown, and then I watched it after, and then I watched it again, and I watched her again, I watched her again. I was like, damn, that was going on?
She got them eyes, though. Right?
Look
at them eyes.
She's into what she's talking about.
I'm scared of her, man. Oh, you wake up and see her, you be like, did you take out the trash? To get my shoes. I'll take the trash out.
I'm not fighting with her. I'll take the trash out. She's going to make you do it anyway. Yeah. Ricky Martin was there. I had no idea. You said you had no idea. I knew that was Ricky Martin.
I did not know that was Ricky Martin.
He had the beard, grown man, Ricky Martin.
He don't look like the old Ricky Martin.
That don't look like the old Ricky Martin one bit.
But I forget we older. Her eyes are scaring me.
You're digging this. We're diving deep into what was popping on this.
We're going deep.
Now we go straight into this. Actually simulated the problems with our power grid in Puerto Rico, which is a direct consequence of us being a colony and the privatization of our power grid by the USA. Then Bad Bunny emerges from the fields carrying the Puerto Rican flag, but not just any Puerto Rican flag. This is the light blue Puerto Rican flag, which is the original colors. And this is the flag that they banned. And then we were only allowed to get our flag back when they changed it from light blue to that navy royal blue to match the blue in the American flag. But by waving this flag, this is our original flag, again referencing our own sovereignty.
A mi puebla, mi patria, Puerto Rico. Seguimos aquí.
And ending it with seguimos aquí, which means we're still here. Even though you're trying to colonize us and gentrify us out of our own island, seguimos aquí.
Okay, I just want to say something.
Please, that's what we're here for.
I can't date her. She's a little too aggressive with the words.
Yeah, she's aggressive.
But her point makes the Super Bowl halftime show like so much more than what it was. I don't know if on a large scale that America needs to be educated on that, but wow, that was powerful.
Yeah.
Now I got to go back and watch the Super Bowl.
You got to watch it again.
And seguimos aquí.
Seguimos aquí. We keep going.
Seguimos aquí. We're still here.
Still here, yeah.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan Santi, got the OG _ Frizzy Frank.
Yes.
On our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So the halftime show production designers recruited around 380 people to dress up as grass, allowing for easier staging and movement on and off the field.
Wow.
So those were people in those grass outfits standing around the stage.
Wow. Shout out to Maria.
Shout out to Maria.
And Barbie.
And the Barbie.
Barbie, you too.
Shout her out.
Oh, who is that?
So there's a couple that got married.
What?
While the whole thing was going on. Did you know that?
I'm against marriage. I wish I could have talked to him before they did. I like, dude, come on, really? You go,
and at the Super Bowl?
When you get your divorce, they're going to show the Super Bowl like, dude, remember this? All right.
Yo, I wish y'all nothing but success, man. But get ready for an attack game. It's a long haul. It's a long game. Just stick it. Stick it through.
You know what? Marriage is like the Super Bowl. It's boring. This last Super Bowl is boring.
Uh-huh.
In the last 5 minutes, everybody was scrambling. Like, we need to get this together.
That's how marriage is like, the last 5 minutes?
Yeah, then somebody won. Right? Somebody won that shouldn't have won.
Oh, Jesus.
And then everybody like, oh, man, I knew that was going to happen. All right? That's how marriage, that's exactly how marriage is.
To some folk.
Somebody won who shouldn't have won. They're like, damn, I
geez.
think they shouldn't have won, man. Damn.
The engaged couple ended up with 15 extra wedding announcements. So they sent most to local businesses, hoping to score some free wedding perks.
Oh.
But the last invite, they said, why don't we send one to Bad Bunny? After that, Bad Bunny's office reached out.
Wow.
That was random to do.
Should have did a GoFundMe.
You know, I mean,
I'd have said them like,
they could say that they got to get married on the Super Bowl. That's pretty.
Okay, that is.
I think that's
cool.
I think that's
Are they
dope.
Puerto Rican?
That I don't know.
I hope they
look. I hope they're Puerto Rican.
And I hope she had a caliplegic.
What's that mean?
I told you what that meant.
A what?
Caliplegic.
What does it mean?
Caliplegia. That's an actual word, really.
Okay. What does that mean?
It's a woman with a perfectly round ass. That's what a caliplegia is, something like that. Yeah, that's what it means.
You hope that
then it would be worth it if you marry. If you don't marry a caliplegia, and then you can do, what are you thinking about?
Then there's a kid. The kid is somebody that we can cast. This is really representing a younger version of Bad Bunny with the hope of him inspiring the kids of today. And he handed him a Grammy.
Oh, well, you know what? You can't get mad at him about that because you wish any young kid to have the success of Bad Bunny. Now, people probably would dig deeper than that about who he is as a person and what his habits are, but
no one's perfect. But as long as he's not doing anything else,
I like that he did that to the little kid.
You know, breaking this down, it made me respect what he did. I was like, wow, yeah, you're right. Kendrick Lamar
set the bar. So anyone who does it
got to raise it to the next level.
Is going deeper to teach the youth of today because those are the ones that are going to watch the game.
Yeah.
But if it's country music next year, like I said, they're just going to play.
Well, you know what? If you're going to do country music, why not because the same way I watched for Bad Bunny,
Uh-huh.
and I did not know much of his music. I didn't even really know who the guy was.
I like him.
honest. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I listened to his catalog, some of his catalog, and I was like, wow, it made me listen. I was like, this guy's not bad.
The song he sang with Cardi B, I Like It Like That.
I've heard it.
You heard the song, you just don't know it was there. Oh, baby, I like it like
I know the
that.
original one.
Okay,
I
I
like
don't
it like
know
that.
the original. But
Yeah,
anyway.
that's an original song. I like it like that. That's a song.
Yeah.
Aquí te quiero, mi amor. That's a Spanish song.
Yeah.
I know that song. Yeah.
So
I don't know the Cardi B version.
He had a part in that song,
Mm-hmm.
and I always tried to learn the part. I could sing most of it if I can remember. It depends on how much water I had that day.
Okay, the agua. Mm-hmm. When he climbed the post,
I didn't see him climb the post.
you didn't even see that, huh? You didn't watch that.
Okay, I was watching the game.
You didn't watch. You didn't watch. You didn't pay attention to the halftime show.
I was watching the game,
Yeah.
but the game was boring,
The game was so boring.
right? And the halftime show was on.
Yeah.
But there were, and I repeat,
Mhm.
hoochie mamas in the room.
Oh, in the room that you were in.
Yeah,
So you said forget that.
I probably missed that part.
And how were the hoochie mamas reacting to the halftime show? Were they watching it as well?
I don't think they were watching the game,
Mm.
but they were very interesting. And that part of the game where he climbed the pole, I did not see.
Well, he refused to wear a harness. He was like, I don't need it. There was all safety and rigging and all of that available, obviously, of course, but he didn't want it. He does his own stunts. That guy, he learned it in about 3 minutes.
Well, you know what? That just proves he wanted to be real.
You wanted to keep it.
Like, I don't want to do all that. No, I can climb the pole.
I got it. Don't sweat it. There were over 330 actual cast performers in addition to the plant people. It was just that huge.
Who paid for all that?
NFL.
Oh, that's good then. They got money.
They got money.
I mean, one seat was like $20,000 or something
Jesus
like that. So.
Christ. But that's something that they say in life. That's one of the things if you can do, you should do.
What?
Check out a Super Bowl.
One?
You wouldn't?
If it's a black quarterback.
What if it's not a black? What if it was the Super Bowl that we just got right now? You got a free.
I would not go.
You got a ticket.
I wouldn't go.
If it was free.
I wouldn't go.
On the 50-yard line.
I would not go.
You would not go. That's not a good sign for the NFL to hear that.
I would not go.
That means they really need to step it up. They need to step it up, bro. The performance is celebrating normal people and what it means to be human, to love, have joy, and really appreciate one another. This was meant to show how much he values his community, to celebrate normal people on the world's biggest stage.
And from hearing that, I will always be a Bad Bunny fan. Because how could you not appreciate somebody who did that? How could you not?
There's a trap door. That's when he falls through the door he falls through a trap door into a house. They just literally open it and pull it, and underneath him, but it required too much meticulous planning because we cut straight into the pre-tape. There's the pre-tape inside the house, and then there's the pre-tape on the field of him falling through the roof during the dress rehearsal.
A lot of our leaders could take a note from Bad Bunny's halftime performance.
Yeah.
Together we are America, he said. The only thing more powerful than hate is love, he said.
Yep.
God bless America, he said. Bad Bunny actually showed us what America is.
Yep.
America is taking the brilliance, the beauty of so many other countries coming together in one country. So many different languages, so many different heritages, so many different cultures coming together in one place to all be celebrated. Yep. He had the Puerto Rican flag. He had the American flag. He had several different flags from the different Latin American countries and different North American countries. Bad Bunny actually showed us that if you're willing to step outside of yourself and open up your mind for even the sliver of a second, you too can learn, you can be entertained, you can have a little understanding, you can have a little empathy, and you can have fun while doing it. I think so many leaders could actually take a note from Bad Bunny's halftime performance, because while it was entertaining, he was also teaching us some messages.
Deuces,
guys.